Warhammer Age of Sigmar is a fantasy-themed tabletop miniature war game by Games Workshop where you and your army face off in battle against another person's army. AoS is the sequel game to Warhammer Fantasy Battle, not to be confused with the new Warhammer The Old World, which is its prequel. Anyways, Age of Sigmar has just gotten into its 4th edition, and it's a great time for new and returning players to get into Age of Sigmar. The world that was got destroyed by chaos, and then the god king of humanity Sigmar was flying through the void that remained when a cool dragon befriends him and brings him to the 8 mortal realms. They were already full of life. Kingdoms were being formed and things were relatively chill. This is known as the Age of Myth. Then after some time, chaos armies try to take over the mortal realms for their respective chaos gods. While trying to fight back the armies of chaos, Sigmar loses his legendary hammer. He then goes and hides away to create the Stormcast Eternals to fight as his champions. With that, there were the Realm Gate Wars that usher us into the Age of Sigmar. Luckily, with 4th edition, you don't need to purchase any rulebooks or battle tomes, as the faction packs are free to download as well as the core rules. You will need your minis, tools to build and paint them, something to use as terrain, dice, and a tape measure. Depending on the game type, you may have to purchase additional books or cards, for example Spearhead, but as a complete beginner, unless you want to play Spearhead, all the free material is enough to play the game. There are a few ways to play Age of Sigmar. Spearhead, which is the new game mode where you buy a single box from that army, and that box will fight against another Spearhead box. There are similar but separate rules, and it's a great format for beginners to get into Age of Sigmar as it removes list building and the games are shorter to play. However, Spearhead does require the battle tactic and twist card decks to play, which come in the Scaventide box but are sold separately. Then there is Open Play, which is the standard way of playing Age of Sigmar, where you build your list to an agreed upon points amount and face off in battle against an opponent. Next is Match Play, which is a seasonal scenario of sorts, which will depend on the current battle pack you are playing. There is one for free in the core rules called Border War, and there is a bunch more in the General's Handbook, which also came in the Scaventide box but is also sold separately. Lastly, there is Path to Glory or Narrative Play, where your battles will follow a story. As a complete beginner, I'd recommend Spearhead or Open Play, as those will be the most casual per se game modes, but stepping into Match Play or Narrative after having a few Spearhead or Open Play games under your belt shouldn't be difficult at all. They essentially throw in a few more rules to spice it up a bit. When choosing your very first army, there will be some that are more beginner friendly than others in terms of the hobby and their playstyles, but my advice will be to throw all that to the wind and choose the army which appeals to you the most. Ignore meta, as the rules will change, but your models won't change aesthetically unless you change them by repainting them or I guess breaking them. If you're really into an army's lore or look, then choose that faction, as you will be happier in the long run building, painting, and playing an army that you're actually interested in. I have a video on my recommended first purchases, which will hopefully help you decide on your very first Warhammer purchase. It will be linked down below, maybe a pinned comment. I hope this helped you on your intro to Age of Sigmar. Please like and subscribe for more Warhammer content, and comment below if I missed anything or if you have any other advice for new players. I'll see you next time.